Cymru Hashib and Jew, Smishi, Bruce Fummey, and an Shakadov La and Gerin agus Falcha, Gu, and La Shaw and an Echteri Alapa. I know, I don't look like the average Gaelic speaker, do I? For those of you who already know me, you'll know that my background is that my mum is Scottish and my dad is from Ghana in West Africa, and I am the finest comedian on the Afro-Celtic comedy circuit. I'm only the 43rd best Gaelic speaker on the Afro-Celtic comedy circuit, but you can't win everything. Now, the reason that today I'm standing in front of West Australia's War Memorial, and the reason that I introduced this episode in Gaelic, is because I want to talk to you about a book that I read whilst I was trying to learn Gaelic. And a lot of people say to me, Bruce, what's the point of learning Gaelic? And I say, because on a how agiri give a machine against the Gutsa. They don't have an answer for that, do they? And if they did, they know I speak sod all Gaelic. Fo Skal a Swastika is a book that I read when I was trying to learn Gaelic, and it tells the story of Donald John McDonald, a man from South US who was a Cameron Highlander, and he was also part of the 51st Highland Division that were captured at St Valery in 1940. They were part of the group that was left behind as men scrambled onto boats at Dunkirk. And after capture, they were forced to march on foot the hundreds of miles through France and Belgium to Germany. And Donald John McDonald's book tells of his several attempts to escape from German prisoner of war camps as he was put in ever more protective custody. And now, I don't think he ever genuinely believed he would manage to escape and get home. But he saw it as his duty and responsibility to cause as much trouble as he possibly could for Germans in their own backyard. And he certainly caused them enough trouble so that by the end of the war, they forced him to work down a mine so he had less chance of escaping. Now, the reason I'm telling you his story today is because of a film that I watched on the flight here to Australia. And I'm not one for blockbuster movies, especially those, you know, those cheesy Hollywood cliche tugging heartstring endings. So I didn't expect to be emotionally affected by the blockbuster film of last summer, Dunkirk. And accept that I was 6 hours into an international flight and had been enjoying the benefits of an Emirates in-flight bar. I was pissed, but I was quite emotionally affected by the end of that film. And I don't think it's just because of the oft-quoted words of Churchill that were used as the music and the emotion built to a crescendo at the end of that film. I think it was maybe more because the focus on the ordinary little people in wee boats that cross back and forth in the English Channel, as opposed to talk about the big important people. I think that was what moved me. And maybe it's because it's such an integral part of the story of our island that it connected with me, because I'm a proud Scot, but I'm also British. I mean, not as British as Andy Murray on a good day. I mean, no Scots as British as that, are they? But I am British. I'm also Ghanaian. I'm African. I'm European. And every one of those bits of my background and heritage was involved in that conflict in Europe. In his story, Donald John McDonald tells of an incident on the long march to Germany where a North African man who'd managed to conceal a knife ran out of the line of march and attacked a German soldier and slit his throat. Now, obviously, instantaneously, he was cut down by gunfire, as I'm sure he anticipated he would be. But MacDonald explains that he came from a culture that didn't believe in being taken prisoner. As I watched the historically accurate film Dunkirk, as an Afro-Celt, it struck me that all the faces were white. And yet I know, as a matter of historical fact, that many of the people involved in that conflict were African and Asian volunteers from British and French colonies. I'm glad that Donald John McDonald's story was told. But why aren't theirs? Why is our history so often whitewashed? And I think it matters, because if people realise that African and Asian volunteers risked and gave their lives fighting a rearguard action so that British and French men could scramble into makeshift vessels in the English Channel in 1940, they'd have a different attitude to African and Asian men scrambling on makeshift vessels in the Mediterranean today. It's just a question. Now, yesterday's question was best and most speedily answered by Ian Massey. Today's question might present a wee bit of a problem to some of you. I'm looking for you to give me an example of a Gaelic word which has been adopted into English, and trust me, there are a few. Obviously, as always, if you've enjoyed this, if you've learned something from this, please like and share the clip and the Facebook page, Scottish History Tours. More importantly than that, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Scotland History Tours, and there should either be a link below this clip, above this clip. If you're watching it on YouTube, there will be a button just up there. I hope that you've enjoyed the clip. Agus Himiu Amarach Hamindochus Gumbi La Alain Live Cheery and Rasta.